Good evening. We apologize for the late start. Coming up in our poll conducted by Bill Johnson, we will get answers to questions concerning the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Which of the political parties do Jamaicans think will do a better job of rebuilding Jamaica post-COVID-19? Joining our host, Nicole Hales, will be political commentator Linton Gordon, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and Member of Parliament for Southeast Clarendon, Senator Pernell Charles Jr. and former General Secretary for the People's National Party, Paul Burke. Our news team spoke with persons on the streets who had this to say regarding the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't think at this time another election should call based on what is happening in the country at this time in terms of our crime and COVID and all these things. For certain areas is doing pretty much good so far.
I'm a Nigerian and I've been here for 20 years and I've seen a government that is as serious as this Andrew Holness government. I think they're leading the government, the entire country in the right direction. And the COVID, check about the COVID, what happened, the way they restrict people and force people to stay indoors. This time around, I'm going to vote, and I will vote for JLP.
Yes, I would vote in the next general election. Andrew Holness, of course. Christopher Tufton and Andrew Holness, they did a very good job throughout the pandemic.
First, they're handling pretty good. I just think that certain places shouldn't be open up quite as fast as they did. And the borders were open too early, but they're fine. They're fine. They're doing okay. And I will be voting, and it's for JLP. So.
I'm Ian Smelly. I would vote for the PNP because the JLP mess up too much. Royal Reid, Delroy Chuck, and so much other things. Yeah, and on the COVID, well, they didn't do so bad, but still glitches. Because I hear about this care package and all now. I don't really see the really need the people get any care package.
Meanwhile, as Jamaica moves closer to the announcement of the date for the next general election, the Jamaica Labour Party has indicated that Government Senator Kerencha Morrison will be their candidate in the Northeast St. Catherine constituency. Now, Morrison's selection comes following the recent announcement by Member of Parliament Leslie Campbell that he will not be seeking re-election after he defeated the People's National Party's representative Phyllis Mitchell by 121 votes in the previous general election. In news from the capital, the community of Greenwich Town in the St. Andrew South Police Division has been placed under a zone of special operations. Members of the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, and Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, were deployed to the area early this morning. Now, during a live digital press briefing held earlier today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness stated that the move has been implemented to stem the violence that has been taking place in Greenwich Town in recent months, caused by gangs within the community fighting for turf.
The law reform, zones of special operations, special security and community development measures, Greenwich Town Zone Order 2020 has been gazetted. The government, through the actions of the security forces, can take back control and enforce the rule of law while respecting the rights of the citizens. The crime trend generally in the St. Andrew South Police Division has largely been influenced by the threats posed by gangs, dons, and guns. Despite the imposition of a state of public emergency and reductions in crime generally for the period January to the 29th of June 2020 over the corresponding period for 2019, the St. Andrew South Police Division had the highest number of murders and shootings among all police divisions.
Prime Minister Holness added that the measure is to protect law-abiding citizens and rebuild a level of trust by the members of the community for the police force.
After careful examination of these threats, it is known that there are some underlying root causes which, if addressed with the right set of social intervention programming, will reduce the risk posed both at the community and national levels. An analysis of the situation in the Greenwich Town area has revealed that the community continues to be characterized by increased gang-related violence and criminal activities as the gangs compete for area dominance, and overall the intervention in the space will be geared at the urgent need to save lives and setting the conditions for and the delivery of effective social interventions to reduce social vulnerability to violence and crime. It is important that we continue to build on the success of the use of the Zozos and ensure that the experience of peace, protection of the state, and safety from gang violence become the reality of the Greenwich Town community.
Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says that the violence within the Greenwich Town community has resulted in 7 murders from 8 shootings within the first 6 months of this year.
The community has historically been plagued by a certain degree of violence, and we've seen within the first 6 months of this year that this violence has continued and gone up. We've had 7 murders, of which 2 are double murders, and 8 shootings over that period. Even though we moved assets into the area of Greenwich Town under the state of public emergency, and even though overall in St. Andrews South, the level of violence has reduced and we're now, some way below last year, we recognize that to get long-term change in the area, we've had to look at some long-term strategies. The gang warfare in the community has endangered public safety, causing citizens who want to live in peace to live in fear. It's eroded the social fabric and robbed citizens of their livelihoods. There are men, women, and children who desperately need for us to build strong, legitimate social structures that will keep the gangs and gangsters out of their neighborhoods. They want partnerships with the police, and we are looking for partnerships with the communities.
Now, Chief of Defense Staff at the JDF, Lieutenant General Rocky Meade, outlined the boundaries of the Greenwich Town Zone of Special Operations.
Earlier this morning, the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force deployed to sections of the community to begin preparation for this declaration. And we're operating along the following boundaries. To the west, beginning at the intersection of Marcus Garvey Drive and 3rd Avenue, the boundary extends in a northeasterly direction along 3rd Avenue and then southeasterly along the train line, continuing northeasterly parallel to West Avenue, then to the east of Greenwich All Age School to Spanish Town Road. To the north, it continues southeasterly along Spanish Town Road to the shared parish boundaries of Kingston and St. Andrew in the vicinity of the intersection of Spanish Town Road and Maxfield Avenue. To the east, it continues from the vicinity of the intersection of Spanish Town Road and Maxfield Avenue in a southwesterly direction along the shared parish boundary of Kingston and St. Andrew down to Marcus Garvey Drive. And to the south, the boundary extends from the intersection of the shared parish boundary I mentioned before and Marcus Garvey Drive in a northwesterly direction along Marcus Garvey Drive to the starting point at the intersection with 3rd Avenue.
In news from St. Thomas, 8 persons, including a 1-year-old child, who were all traveling in a Toyota Noah van along the Grand Span Main Road, were rushed to hospital following a collision yesterday. According to police reports, at about 4:30 p.m., the van was traveling in a westerly direction where the driver reportedly overtook a line of traffic, but he encountered another vehicle that was traveling in the opposite direction. The Noah van swerved to the left but skidded on gravel. The driver lost control of the vehicle that ran across the road, hit an embankment, and then overturned. All persons, including the driver, were rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where they were admitted. And those were the stories making news. I am Shelley-Ann Hill. We now join Nicole Hales with Decision 2020. The news and poll will repeat tonight at 11 p.m.